What is up, guys? Rick Kakas here, and today we have a very interesting Destiny 2 discussion. Now, only a few days ago was the Destiny 2 PC beta. This was a very important and interesting time for the Destiny franchise because for the first time ever, a huge amount of people got to get their hands on the PC version of Destiny 2. Now, I got to play the PC version way back, I think in May, with the gameplay world premiere, but it was really nice getting to set it up on my own rig and see how it ran. And, for the most part, the vast majority of news sources and people I've seen have been very positive about this Destiny 2 PC version. Many people were extremely impressed, including myself, honestly, with how well it ran and how good it looked. You had huge streamers and YouTube personalities that weren't really super into Destiny playing the PC beta and going, this is a really good PC game. I might get into this. Like, this is a really big deal. And so that's all absolutely fantastic news. But it brings up the very important question. Is it worth getting Destiny 2 on the PC? And I'm sure a lot of you guys watching this video have wondered that. Maybe you got to experience the PC beta, maybe you heard your friends talk about it, maybe you've been keeping up to date with the news or with your favorite streamer or YouTuber and you've heard them talk about it, but you're wondering, is the PC the best place to buy Destiny 2? Well, today, we're going to talk about the pros, we're going to talk about the cons, and really dive into that question for the sole purpose of helping you guys watching decide what platform, and if at all, you want to buy Destiny 2. And so, let's get started. And we're going to start here with the pros of the PC version. And they really are what I somewhat alluded to earlier. It is absolutely and unequivocally the best looking and the best playing version of Destiny 2. Having sat down and played it on a decent rig that could play it in 4K at 60 frames per second, I gotta say that it was absolutely fantastic. And that 60 frames per second, let's just talk about frames per second here. Going from 30 frames per second on the console up to what you're viewing it in is 60, but really Destiny 2 is uncapped, is an absolutely massive difference. Anyone watching now, I'm sure you guys know, if you own Call of Duty and Destiny, if you ever went from one game to the other, it is a very noticeable difference. Going from 30 frames per second in Destiny and then switching over to 60 frames per second in COD, or more noticeably going from 60 in COD and then going down to 30, 30 just feels sluggish. It is a very noticeable difference. And so it feels so much smoother. It plays so much better when you are 60 plus frames per second on the PC. Also, it looks better. It is native 4K. It is true 4K on the PC. None of this upscaled stuff with the PlayStation 4 Pro and presumably the Xbox One X, but for the older versions, the normal PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, neither of them can truly get up to 4K. So it looks better on the PC as well. So these are all just facts. The best looking, best playing version of Destiny 2 is on the PC. So, I mean, I'm going to conclude this video by saying, oh yeah, buy it on the PC, right? Well, not necessarily, because there is some big cons to that list. And first and foremost, not everyone is able to get up to those factors. This is something that apparently people have somewhat forgotten within the last few days, but not everyone out there can get Destiny 2 on the PC to 4K 60 plus frames per second. In fact, most people can't, because to achieve that graphical fidelity and to achieve those frames per second, you're going to need to spend a lot of money. And I'm just being honest with you, PC players really hype up that the PC is the best place to play, and they're probably right. But when you ask them, well, how much did you spend on the rig? And so, well, I can't quite recall right now. They get real. They don't want to talk about that part. But it's an honest discussion that we need to have. To achieve 4K, just to achieve 4K, you have to have a 4K monitor. And those don't come cheap. And also, if you really want to run it with good graphics, even with just 1080p and you want to run like high on all your settings, you are going to need a really good rig. For my personal rig, I was running with a NVIDIA GTX 1080, I think, Ti graphics card. Guys, this graphics card, for the price of this graphics card, I could get a PlayStation Pro and a monitor. And I'm just being honest with you guys. My graphics card for my PC, just my graphics card, costs more than an entire PlayStation Pro. Considerably more. And I'm not trying to brag. I know that sounds kind of weird to have people saying it to you, but that is a factor you absolutely have to consider. You need to be willing to shell out literally thousands of dollars in order to get the best possible version of Destiny 2 on the PC. Now, I'm leaving out a big part of this, and it's another pro of the PC version, is that it's very customizable. You don't have to reach like 4K 100 frames per second. No one's saying that. Alright, so if you want to run kind of a lower quality version of Destiny 2, heck, because the PC is so customizable, you can lower the graphics to the point where, yeah, it might not look as good, but it's still running at 60 plus frames per second. The PC versions actually have the capability to do that, whereas with the console version, that's just the version you get, right? There's no messing with the graphics, there's no messing with those kind of settings in the console version. The console version is the console version. But if you don't have the best PC rig, you can customize your experience to, again, prioritize frames per second over graphics, or the opposite. And that is a huge pro for the PC version for sure. But again, I'm just really trying to make it clear that for everyone out there who has seen that gorgeous PC gameplay like 4K 60 frames per second on YouTube or elsewhere and heard people sing the praises of how amazing the game looks and plays, you have to have a very, very good rig in order to get to that absolute maximum best version of Destiny 2 on the PC, and that's just a fact. So if you already have a good rig, then you are absolutely golden. But if you don't have a great rig, if you maybe just have a gaming laptop or are looking to upgrade your rig, that's something you definitely need to keep in mind when making your decision. Another very important factor that everyone needs to consider is that the PC version comes out October 24th, and the console version comes out in around 4 days on September 6th. So that is another very, very big factor. If you are getting it and you've got friends on the console and you want to not obviously play with them but discuss it with them and you're all Destiny fans, you are going to have to wait nearly 2 months longer than your console playing friends. Past the first raid, past the first several Trials of Osiris weekends, it's going to be brutal. It just is. Not being able to play the game that your friends just can't stop talking about. And that's going to be a brutal 2 months. It just is going to be. And we also don't exactly know what's happening with expansion packs. Are those coming out at the same time for the PC and the consoles? Or are the expansion packs going to come out later on the PC as well? These are questions that you definitely need to ask yourself. Can you wait 2 months of your friends non-stop talking about their Trials loot? It is going to suck if you're planning to do that. But in a couple of months, you're going to be able to rub your friends' faces in that glorious 4K uncapped frame rate gameplay. And that is really the trade-off. There are several trade-offs to buying the PC version that, quite frankly, I was disappointed that so many news sources, so many different people were mentioning nothing but the pros and not mentioning any of the trade-offs. And that's why I really was motivated to make this video. And additionally, perhaps one of the biggest downsides in the grand scheme of things is that there's no cross-save, right? There's no option to buy the PlayStation 4 version, let's say, play for 2 months, and then switch over to the PC version and use that same character. You're going to have to start from scratch on the PC. At least that's the current information. It really does look like cross-saving will not happen. And that could, quite frankly, fix a lot of the problems I brought up today. If you do have a great rig, but your friends are all on the PlayStation 4, your raid team is all on the Xbox One, what are you really going to do? I think a lot of people are going to make the choice to play with their friends. Like, that's going to be the most enjoyable experience for a lot of people, even if they think the PC version is better, which, again, it is, but it does come with those several trade-offs. I really hope Bungie changes their mind here, because if they did introduce cross-saving, if you could export your PlayStation 4 character to the PC and vice versa, I think a lot of people out there would buy the game twice to play on their own. Maybe with the PC version, it's the best looking, best playing version, and then, go and raid with their friends on the PlayStation 4. Or again, get that PlayStation 4 or the Xbox One version early for those 2 months and then switch over to the PC. But the fact that we don't have that, the fact that if you did want to maintain a relationship with your friends and then also get a PC version, let's say, you're going to have 2 completely different characters. You're going to have to level up your character twice. And we know with Destiny RNG, that's a pain in the butt. So at the end of the day, is the PC the best place to get Destiny 2? Well, it really depends. It is undoubtedly the home of the best possible version of Destiny 2, graphically and gameplay wise. But you're going to have to spend a lot to get that version, to get that same fidelity. And also, you're going to miss out on 2 months of the game. And also, there's no cross-platform saving. And those are big, big trade-offs that everyone definitely needs to consider when making a choice. Now, some of you guys out there have a great rig and all your friends are on PC, right? And so the choice is obvious. You're going to get the PC version. Some of you out there are just sticking with the console version, but for some people still confused, hopefully this video has shed some light in the choices, in the decisions you're going to have to make, and into the things you need to consider when choosing what platform to buy the game on. Unfortunately, I can't end the video by saying, yup, get it for the PC, or yup, don't get it for the PC, because there's really so many factors that go into it. I can't give you guys a firm recommendation. I can simply give you guys a bunch of things you need to consider, and then leave that recommendation and that final choice to you. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, found it informative, and if you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. The people who do that are the reason this channel is staying alive, so thank you so much to those who do. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content in the future, remember to slap that subscribe button. And if you guys want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickKakis. That's linked in the description down below, as is my Twitch channel, which you can also follow. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.